Please note that in this show you might hear graphic descriptions or language that may not be appropriate for everyone. Listener discretion advised.
A little bit about myself first, so you can get to know me better. Ik ben Mark. Ik ben net 30 jaar geworden. Ik woon in Nijkerk samen met mijn vrouw. Zij is 32 jaar en met mijn zoontje, Roan. Hij is 3,5 jaar oud. En ik hou ervan om buiten te fietsen of te sporten naar de sportschool. En daarnaast vind ik het heel erg leuk om boeken te lezen en over spiritualiteit en daarin te groeien en te leren en te delen met anderen.
Welcome to Parentless Podcast. I am your host, Stephanie Relaford. On this show, we're going to be speaking with others who have experienced the loss of one or both of their parents or parental figures. As we heard in episode 12 with Louisa Velarde, being parentless is like an island, and I don't know how to swim. Thank you for being my life jacket.
My name is Mark, and I just turned 30 years old. I am married. Oh, I don't have the ring on right now, but I am married. I have a son. He is 3.5 years old, and his name is Roan, and my wife's name is Melody. We live together in the Netherlands, and we are together now for 4.5 years. Oh no, soon we are married. The 19th of June, we are married for 4 years. So everything is going great. What I like to do in my spare time is I like to bike, visit friends, go to the gym occasionally. I'm not a gym shark, but I like to do a little bit for it. And what I also like to do is just talk with people about life and develop. I like to read books, self-development books, and I study a lot on the internet about these things. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. First of all, Steph, thank you for having me on your podcast. And I would like to say first the frame that I'm coming from as a person. I like to share. I like to grow together and learn from each other. And that is like the most important thing to me. So that is my perspective.
Who is your person? Who are we talking about today?
Yeah, we are talking about two persons, but first we will talk about my mother. And after we will talk about my father, because they both passed away in my mid-20s. And it started with my mother. And she passed away of kidney cancer, and it spread through to the lungs. It went really rapidly, like within 1 year or so. It was, now I'm 30, it was when I was 24. And it started with the divorce of my parents, first of all. My mother wanted to go away, start a new life for herself. And I moved with my mother. And well, a few months in, I was still going to university studying biology. And I decided to go on my own room, right? To leave the parents' house and go out by yourself. So I did that. She was very supportive. And I remember clearly as day that one time I came home from university and I saw her there just standing in the living room of her new house that she bought. And I thought, well, what is going on? This is, something is up. I saw her a bit shaky and almost wanted to burst into tears. And she told me that she had cancer. And well, even now talking about it a little bit, I feel the emotion coming back up because that moment is burned on my retina. So that moment changed everything. I decided to move back in with her to support her and to take care of her. And she was taking medication, which first didn't have any side effect, but it got worse. So she needed to have more care. And beside that, I was doing my university and it was really hard to balance everything. So I decided to drop a few subjects and calm everything down and take care of my mother because like she took care of me her whole life and this is the least I can do for her to do it, and whatever it brings. We had the estimation that it would be around 5 years that she still had to live, but everything went a lot faster than expected. And after that, within a year that all of this happened, we needed to drive many times to the hospital and back. The side effects got worse, and in the end, like this year though, we really grew to each other, because first I was growing up like a lot of, I'm speaking for guys now, they go to college, university, they study, they do a little bit of gaming, they're in the house, some social activities. I played soccer, but the relationship with my mother and father was not really intimate and close until this shift happened that, all right, I need to tell it now, or you need to tell it. There's no secret, but you need to be open now and tell everything that's going on. Otherwise, you will not have a second chance. So it was a very high quality year regarding the relationship that we had. So that was very beautiful. We could say everything that we wanted to say to each other. And yeah, I also made the speech that I wanted to held on a funeral. So I made a speech before she passed away, and then I read it to her, which was very special. So she already knew what I was going to say. And I'm the oldest. I have a younger brother, and my father was not really in the picture because he had early dementia. So I needed to take the responsibility of the family and run it. And I did that. Like, you are in survival mode this whole time. You wanted to be good for your mother. You wanted to stay strong. And after she passed away, a week after that, then I got the hit, because then was the moment for me to be vulnerable, because otherwise all the time you need to stay strong and take the responsibility and take care of your brother, your father, your mother. And that was really intense the week after she passed away. This was also the moment that I decided to read some books about how to deal with this, and spirituality really helped me in this. It was, for me, like, although I would really like to share my life with my mother, I would never be the person that I am today if I didn't have this traumatic experience. And I wish that she was here, that I can show it, but I also learned to accept the reality how it is, because I remember the sentence that I had in my speech, that I put out on a funeral, and the sentence was that something like, no matter what life throws at me, I don't want to look away. I want to look straight in the eyes of it, not for what I wish that it was, but for what it actually is. And this really, this mindset I kept, and helps me to accept what happens, because this happening was my life situation. It was really close to me, and I feel better than ever before because of it, because I believe that the hardest times can make you able to grow stronger out of it. And that is what I set out to do, and make my mom proud of the thing that I'm building.
What a beautiful picture there that you had. You said that year was very productive for you in your relationship.
Yeah.
I think that's something that I really love, and great that you had that time with her, and that you were able to move in. I mean, that's a big thing for a 24-year-old. Were you 24?
Yeah, I was 24.
Like you
23,
said,
because she passed away when I was 24.
To stop your college, to go in and to do all that for her, I think.
Yeah, it felt really natural for me to do it. I always had a high sense of responsibility, but Like college, you can do it a year later. If your mom goes away, then she's gone forever, and you cannot get that time back. Health and family is above everything. So yeah.
And I also love that you wrote your speech and that she was able to hear that. Do you remember her reaction, like after you finished reading?
Well, we were already crying halfway together, but I wanted to just continue and say it. But we were crying both, and then we hugged good, and she said it was beautiful.
Very good.
Yeah, it was a special moment. I still have it somewhere. All these things, talking about it makes me feel my emotion coming back up, and I feel the little tears, because it is still there.
Yeah.
But that is okay. It's
okay to cry.
Thing. It's fine.
Yeah.
Even I don't want to say the word even. Like, there is this, I don't know if it is in America like that, but in the Netherlands, there is this model that sometimes men need to show towards society, that they need to stay strong and they can't show emotions, or that is weak. And thank God I see that less and less. But I think, please stop that. Be human, be yourself, and show yourself. That is what you can do.
Today's podcast spotlight falls on the Grief Bully podcast, hosted by J. Nicole Jones. J. Nicole Jones is the perfect person to have on your side as you fight grief. She has this way with words that makes even the worst day seem possible. One of the things that I love about her is that she really makes sure to show up, and she shows up on her good days and on her not so good days. And last I heard, she hadn't missed a weekly episode in the almost 2 years since she first started her podcast, which is a really great accomplishment. When she opens her mouth, she opens that grief toolkit that she has, and she is just there for you, my friends. Literally, she is a message away. If you need a friend to lean on, you can message her. Find her on Instagram at I_am_J Nicole. The Grief Bully podcast is available on most major podcast platforms. Subscribe to J Nicole, the Grief Bully, on YouTube. Please be sure to leave a rating and review wherever you listen. This will help get the word out about the Grief Bully. Although, let's be real, J Nicole is in the top 2.5% of grief podcasts globally. This means that a lot of people already know and love her, and this is exactly why you should check her out as well. If you have a favorite grief-related podcast you would like to be in the spotlight, let me know.
So let's keep it a bit, I don't know even if it's an English word, chronological. Yeah, okay. After my mom passed away, I took time for myself. For a few months, I didn't go to university. I took my time to process it. And after a few months, I signed up for some classes and I finished university because it wasn't in my last year. So I still needed to finish 1 year. And after this year, I was done studying. Like a lot people here in the Netherlands, they want to see the world. They want to travel. And so did I. I was done with university and I thought, no more books for me. I want to explore. And that's what I set out to do. So I wanted to travel through Europe with my car. And here I first went to Germany, south of Germany. And here I also met my wife. And I will get back to this story, how this developed a bit, because it impacted also the situation with my father passing away, because those things happened around the same time. My wife's from Taiwan and she was traveling also in Europe, and we had a great time together. But she got unexpected pregnant, and I thought like the naive young father that I am. Awesome, I'm gonna be a father. This is great. Life is giving me something back now because I lost it. And I said to my wife, no matter what you choose, I am behind it. Like, I will take the responsibility and we're gonna make something out of this. And I love to be a father. And she was really doubting because, well, we just met, we met each other for 4 months. And she was in Taiwan and I was in Austria at that time. And like, she wanted to take it away. So she went to get her last checkup, echo, as if that's the word. And she saw the heartbeat, right? Yeah. There's no way that she's gonna take it away then. So she called me up in tears and says she couldn't do it. So, and I was in Austria at that moment. And I say, all right, I'm coming. I see you next week. I took my bags. I went back to the Netherlands and then took the airplane to Taiwan. And I went back to the Netherlands because, as I mentioned earlier, my father had dementia. And he needed so much care. My brother was living there, and his ex-girlfriend, my father's ex-girlfriend, before my mother, moved back in with him because she always loved him and never stopped loving him.
Wow.
But my father changed with the dementia and became a little bit softer, another kind of other person, and his ex wanted to take care of him and felt good. And me and my brother also allowed this to happen because, well, it really helped us. And she was a great woman. She is a great woman. She's still with us. So I moved back from Austria to the Netherlands for 1 week to help my father move to a daycare center. He needed to go to a special place and live with the elderly people who have dementia because the care was too much. I helped with this, and then I flew to Taiwan to take care of my wife and the upcoming baby. And well, this went on for 2 months because we were studying Dutch like crazy because we want the best for the child, and that is go to the Netherlands. So we made that happen. And the time that we came back, then my father was deteriorating with his illness. You saw him remember less and less people. But me and my brother, he still remembered. And I missed that humor that he had and that I had with him, because it was the small, if we talked about the past, for example, he wouldn't remember anything. But if I did it with a sense of humor and the jokes that we always cracked with each other, then a light lit in his eye again, like that. Then you could still see him a bit, although it is vague because dementia slowly takes the person away. When we threw humor in, then it was so fun to see him react and laugh about that. So that is basically, I visited every week, one time on a Sunday. Every time I came there, we did this. And this was really different, him passing away, because dementia takes your parent away every time a little bit, instead of all at once, like with my mother. So this was already going on for like 5 years. One of the hardest things was when my son was born, and I told him, "You're a grandfather." Like, I was so happy that I made him a grandfather, but I couldn't share it because he didn't understand the concept of being a grandfather. So I put my son, who was, I think, 1 month old, on him when he was laying on the bed, and he was like picking it like it was a pillow or a teddy bear or something. So he had no idea what it was, and that was really sad for me that I couldn't share that. But it is how it is, and then just make him laugh and smile, because that is all you can do at that moment to be of importance to someone. My father passed away 28 November 2018, and we got a phone call. Like, we already knew that it was gonna happen because he was really bad. His immune system was really low, and he got a cold. And they say he's not eating, drinking anymore, so probably will happen quickly. And in the middle of the night, we got a phone call that he passed away, and the next morning we went to him. Yeah, his brother was also there, so my uncle. He's a doctor, so he knew what needed to be done and what happened, so he could explain it to us, which was really nice. And a week after that, we buried him. And although this was less of a shock, the aftermath, like the weeks after that, were just as painful. Because it was just as painful as my mother's. You know what's coming, and you go through all the steps of the grieving process. The only advantage was that because it happened before, I could allow my body to let me go through all this. So make the steps quicker, recognize them, and I don't get over is the wrong thing, because if I talk about it, I still feel grief and love and sadness and all these things. Get over, maybe it's better to say that I know how to deal with it and accept it, whatever comes. Mm-hmm. Like whatever my mind or my body or my emotion is giving to me, I accept that, and I know how to deal with that. Yeah, it was a crazy time because of me living together with my brother, working hard to get my wife in the Netherlands, being a new father with a baby, and then needed to take responsibility to bury your father and starting a new job, and that was all at the same time.
Yeah, just one of those things, any one of those things would be a lot for one person, but to have it all together, oh my goodness.
I was 27, at that time. Mm. It makes you mature really fast, I need to say.
Yeah. What was the date that your mom passed away?
24/7.
You told me that when you would go see your dad, that you enjoyed his humor and the little jokes that you would tell. Do you remember any of those jokes?
Oh, but they are probably. Let me see if I can dig some up. Yeah, there was a it is laughable for us, but I will just say it, whatever. So he was a teacher, and there was a colleague who's also called Gert. And Gert is a name in the Netherlands, and my father is called Gert. Other teacher is also called Gert.
Okay.
But the last name of Gert is called Bonen. It means beans. So Gert Beans was his name. So we would shout for fun towards my father, Gert Beans, dinner's ready. And and he would always laugh about that kind of silly thing. And even if he had dementia, we would say this to him, and you could see the recognition in the joke that always made him spark up.
Is there any smell, sight, taste, sound, song, anything like that reminds you of your mom or your dad?
Yeah. Start with my mom. Always when I see a butterfly, I think of my mother. Yesterday, I was walking through the forest, and a yellow butterfly passing by, and I thought, hey mom. And always when I see butterflies, most of the time I think about my mother then. And she didn't really have... Yeah, there was a butterfly on her grieving card. I don't know if that's the right thing, but this card you send to... In the Netherlands, we send cards to people to let know that some family member passed away and when the funeral is and when they can come to give condolences. And on this card, we had a flower with a butterfly. And I think this is why I get reminded of it. And well, the first thing that comes up was she was always there for my brother and me. If we wanted to play with friends, she would always bring us because we lived a bit separate from the school and where life was happening. We had a beautiful place that we lived though, but so she needed to bring us every time. And also if I wanted to play soccer, I did it in a very competitive way, and I needed to train 4 times a week. And on Saturdays, I needed to go there, and every time she would bring me. And she would, when I turned 16, she said, "Mark, here, have a scooter and go by yourself." And my father, well, the first thing is that we made silly jokes all the time. Oh yeah, this might sound weird, but his strong arms and his hands, like if those are holding me, or if I see them, then all right, that is safety. That just reminds me of my father because he was a climber. He climbed in the rocks, and he even made something under our own garage. He put bricks on the wall with different colors, and he hung up a rope with a suit, and then he invited his friends and climbed in our own barn. And so he was very strong in this part of his body, his upper body and his arms. So he had big, strong arms. And I think of that. If I think about my father, music, there was John Lennon, and I think, I'm not sure the song, but I think the song is Legend, called Legend, and because that played at his funeral, every time I hear it, then it hits me. Songs always just so powerful.
Do you believe in signs or anything? Do you feel like butterflies are a sign for you, or do you have signs?
If I believe in signs, if it helps a person, you can believe. Like, for me, I don't want to say a sign, but if I see it and then I link a thought to it, which then helps me, then great. But if I say it's a sign and then I kind of want to focus on this, and then this sign is not coming anymore, then I think, why is the sign not coming? You know, so I don't want to look at it as a sign, more like, oh, this came into my life. Oh, it makes me think of this. Hey, this happened before. Name it a sign. However, for me, that concept is not important. I put more importance towards what it gives me when it comes into my experience.
Nicely worded.
Yeah, it is just the thought that pops up in your mind. For everyone, it can be different. But if you label it or say it is a sign, then it is something you can also have disadvantages from. Because if you don't see the sign anymore, then you think, I'm not getting signs.
Hey, so while we're kind of talking about this, what do you like spirituality wise? What do you think? Well, okay, so that's one question. And then do you feel like your parents are looking down on you today?
Yeah. Beautiful. And this topic is really close to me and one of my biggest passions in life. So I will take time to explain them, okay? So where to start? Because it is important for me to express me the right way. So if you say belief, most of the people are referring towards belief in God, and therefore you are religious, Christianity or any other religion you believe in. So this part is believing, and I am more spiritual. Although I do believe in some things, my highest priority is in spirituality, and this means, very simply, you look towards the experience that you are having in the now. Because I believe, I will explain more. You look towards the experience that you're having in the now, because I believe the now is all you'll ever have. We always live now. You have now memories from the past, but you have them now. You have now thoughts about the future, but you have them now. So an experience is just a broad word of everything that you can experience, like the senses, taste, smell, hearing, feeling, but also experience from all the emotions, the range of emotions that there is, the thoughts, touch, all this experience, all these things I name experience that you have within the now. And for me, this is a truth and so this is my highest priority. And then believing is something that happens in my thoughts, which has an effect on how I feel. So it definitely helps believing. And I believe thoughts, and certain thoughts, like you can believe in God, you can believe in that you're have a good future, you can believe in all kind of things that might help you. You need to believe in the right things because they need to serve you. So they are important, but not my highest priority. And this is what I found in life. And I will share a bit more because I do believe in God, but not in the sense that there is, not in the sense of religious Christianity, although I really like Jesus. But I will explain a bit more about that. So the word God for me is a concept, and not for example, a man with a white beard up in the sky in heaven, and there's a day of judgment. If you lived good, you go to heaven. If you live bad, you go to hell. I don't believe in that. I believe that the Bible is full of metaphors, and that Jesus also all the time spoke within a metaphor. For example, when he said the kingdom of heaven is within, he is pointing us towards inside, and that we need to put our attention inwards, I believe. And this directly comes from spirituality with meditation. And with meditation, you can reach a state of being, of consciousness, where all is pure bliss, love, good, endless. And you can name it God, you can name it the self, you can name it consciousness. For me, it is a concept, and we need to use words in order to describe things that we think exist. So I use God in the way that it is the all, ever existing, ever loving, is always there, it's infinity, and it is where we return also. So I do believe that after we die, we return to this, or as a soul. Although this is my strong belief in life, if someone tells you a story, you have then the choice to believe in the story or not believe. Whatever the story is, if it's about dragons, if it's about leprechauns, if it's about I got fired on my job because this and this and this, whatever the story is. If someone tells you this, and a story is also the story of Christianity, because people have told this to you. And you can believe the story or not. But if you believe it, does it bring you closer to truth? Maybe. If you not believe it, does it? Maybe. But you only believe a story if it is within your experience. If it is not within your experience, it is just a story. So then there is no resonance. And that's why I focus on searching experiences in the now. And I found some experiences which made me believe that there is way more than this material life that we're living. So all this, all the things that Jesus say really inspire me and help me in life, but also the things of Buddhism, Taoism, meditation, those things really help me in life. And I see overlapping fields that they are pointing to the same thing, but just use different words because of different cultures, different times, but all pointing to the same thing. That is what I believe because I had certain experiences which made me believe them. But I still keep in mind that these stories and these theories help me, and I believe them, but I still want to search the experience in the now and see how far you can go with something. I hope I cleared that a bit.
Yeah, that was good. But now I have a question. And if you don't want to answer it, then it's okay.
I will probably answer everything.
You talked about different experiences that made you have these beliefs.
I would love to share.
That sound means that I have a special portion of Mark's interview over on patreon.com. This audio is free and available to everyone. Just visit www.patreon.com/parentlesspodcast. Now, due to the internet and just how things work, there are times when Parentless Podcast has mature content. And because of this, you cannot just search for Parentless Podcast in the Patreon search bar. If you have tried this, don't worry, here's the solution. In order to find the site, you need to type in the actual address. Here it is once more. www.patreon.com/parentlesspodcast.
And I don't say this is truth. This is just a theory, a thought that I believe and that helps me in life. And if it does for other people, great. Jump along and go for it.
The things that you went through in your life with your parents and the experience of meeting your wife and having your son, you weren't supposed to have your son.
Yeah.
If things went, the way that they were going to go. So yeah, I think you have enough life experiences that it's fair for you to be able to say that. So.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. You've talked about it a little bit here. We just talked about it, but if you can maybe box them up for me, what would you say that your coping mechanisms are?
Oh, awesome. My coping mechanism is so many things, I think. Maybe I don't want to say coping, but more striving. Because coping seems like a way you need to handle bad things. And it is bad if you think about it. It's bad. Like, I don't say that I don't believe in, good and bad is really a good way to talk about things and to give direction in life. But if we talk, for example, about passing away of parents, is this a bad thing in itself? Is it bad? It is damn not great, and it is a hell to experience and to feel. But it is a happening, and it is life. Everyone dies. Everyone in another way, and it just is part of it. It is not a bad thing. And coping sounds like you need to cope with something bad that's happening to you. So I like striving more because you can grow from it. I said it many times, just grow and learn and be stronger so you can be there for the persons around you that you love. That's actually one of my mantras. Like, you can be a little bit selfish. And then, I mean, in the sense of that you are selfish for you, you take care of you. So you become stronger, so you can give more to the family that you love, or to your friends, or to your colleagues. Because the stronger you are, the more you can give. That's one of my mantras.
I like it. Very good. Do you have any more you want to share with us?
I kind of feel that if you really want to learn and grow, that's where everything starts. And from there, it will fall into place. Not exactly the same way. For every person different, because everything is a unique experience. Every individuality has a unique experience in this life. No matter how close you are to your partner, it is still your unique experience and what comes into your life. But if you have this mindset of growing, learning, loving, getting stronger, sharing, then the rest will follow.
Okay. I don't think you mentioned, what is your mom's name?
My mom's name is Margreet. You can translate that to Margaret.
I see your poster behind you, and I know you told me that you didn't really want to talk about that because that's not why you're here.
Yeah.
But your experiences, I believe, have brought you to what you're doing today. So that's why I like to let people talk about what they are doing now. So if you want to talk about it, love to.
So indeed, what you say, my experiences in life have led me to what I'm doing right now. And the sign in the back is my own mentoring program. And I help people with this because it gave me so much in life to learn from the grieving process and to have all these experiences in life. So I can be more loving and feel better towards the people around me. And because I am also in Facebook groups where people talk about losing their parents and how hard it is for them. And when I see this, I recognize my own pain from back then. And I know there is a way out because I'm the living proof. There's a way out. All this psychological trauma and it is not needed, and nothing makes me more happy is than to help people with this and see them more happy, spark up, inspired, energized, motivated, looking positively towards life. So I started my transformation mentoring program 1 year ago. And setting it up, helped a few people with it. I'm not really active with it, but it is there. Sometimes family or friends come to me and we go for a walk. I talk with them and it's great. And nothing makes me more happy than to share that with them. So yeah, there's the mentoring program in the back. You can say it's a grieving coach, but I see it as way more than grief. I see it as a life coach, because grief, you can go through the grieving steps within a year or within half a year, or you can be stuck there for 15 years. Let's say you go through it in half a year. There is still so much things that I want to share with people to make their lives better. Because the grieving is one thing, but there's a whole other field of getting to know yourself better, getting control of your thoughts, of your emotions. The grieving just is part of a step or a process in your life which opens the doors And if you control that part, it opens doors to many other aspects in your life. Like, for example, a shitty boss, a bad day, an argument with your spouse, difficulty with your children, not happy with yourself. The grieving coaching that I give also will help you in all these aspects of life, because it all starts with psychological suffering. And psychological suffering is the catalyst for growth.
So you're not so active in your mentoring program, but it's there, it's available.
Yeah, I let it go with the flow. If people come to me, then I'm doing it. But I'm not actively searching for people. Like, I have a family life to run. I have my normal work next to this to run, to go to. I work 5 days in the week, weekend free. Then I'm with my family, and in the evening I do this. I do the mentoring program, but I also let it grow naturally. I don't want to push myself. I want to be inspired and do it. I don't need to do it for money, because we live good. So it is something next to it. And if people are interested in what I say, they can always reach out. Every day I love to talk about this and help people with this. So I hope I am as open as I feel towards everyone, and have a free invite. If you want to have a chat for it, then I would love to help.
Good. So if they want to contact you, how do they contact you?
Oh, they can go to Facebook and then just type my name. I don't know, like Mark Cozijnsen, but that's not a really common name, of course.
Okay.
Mark Cozijnsen 7, I think it's the Facebook, but we can put a link somewhere towards it, or they can send the email to m.i.cozijnsen@gmail.com.
One thing I did not ask, and I do want to ask, and then we'll kind of close it up. When you had your son, what's it like to have a child and not have your parents around?
Yeah, that is two-sided, because there is one part of me that is living in the now and just accepting it and moving on. I don't like that word, but just going on with life. There's another part, if I think back about memories, which then brings me of the sad emotion that I want to share this with them. Like, I see, because my friends are also getting children now, and then they bring them to family, and then they have a babysitter because they can bring easy to the parents, and then I can't because I don't have parents and I can't bring them to anywhere. So it is dealing with that logistic part. Yeah, because my son is I'm so proud of him, and I love him till every being in my cell of my body. And it is so great to see him grow up, and the joy that he gives me. And I want to share that with my parents and show them, because for myself later, I would like to be a grandparent, leave something beautiful behind. And they didn't have the chance to become a grandparent, although my father did, but he didn't know that he became a grandfather. It is a pity. How is it like? Also, sometimes you want to get information. How do you deal with this? The child is doing this. Can you give some help?
Exactly.
But where I get my help from is from the nannies at school, because I ask, all right, is this normal that they're doing this? How do you do this? I think this is a good way, but how do you do this? I ask that to the nannies on school, not to my parents. So that's also a difference. And the parents from my wife live in Taiwan, and they speak Mandarin. I cannot communicate with them. My wife speaks with her mother, I think I would say every week. but also not really about advice for growing up your children. What I love about my wife is that she also has the growth mindset, and we're both just exploring getting information from other sources than our parents, also from the internet, and then we discuss it and apply it. So yeah, that is a difference.
Very good. What would you say to your mom if you could say anything?
Oh, I said this many times in my mind to let it out. Thank you. Thank you for raising me. Thank you for taking care of me. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for everything that you give to me. Like, just be very grateful and thankful. Yeah. Same towards my father. If I want to say something, it's this, for sure.
Very good. I think that one's so important.
Yeah.
All right, Mark. Well, thank you so much for talking with me again and for sharing all of your knowledge and your story.
Yeah. Thank you for feeling inspired to contact and to set it up, because there's some administration you definitely need to do, the sound, the podcast, everything you need to put ready so we can have the interview. Also the communication in front, sending the link, all these small details which make it happen. Thank you, because I love being here and I love sharing.
Parentless Podcast is recorded in Phoenix, Arizona. Find us on social media and most major podcast platforms. Music provided by Colin Lococo and the Revolving Birds. Studio and editing provided by Back Home Media and Ian Relaford. Check out one of the many shows on our network. I am your host, Stephanie Relaford.